Wear an apron when you're painting. If you get paint onto your clothing, there's a very good chance that it will not wash out. So protect your clothes by wearing an apron. You have a lot of different colors to choose from or using acrylic paint. Please put 1 pump of paint per use. If you're going to mix colors, put the paint on the outside container of the tray, and then we'll look at how to mix it here in a second. Again, to just reinforce it, please only get 1 pump of paint each time you go. Paint's expensive, and if you need more, get some, but that way hopefully we're washing less paint down the sink when you're done with it. You may decide that you want to actually mix colors, so if you're doing that, use the smaller brush to bring the colors in and mix them in the center area. There are 12 different colors to use though, so hopefully those colors that are there are going to be what you need and you can make those work, but you are allowed to mix them, so that's something that you're allowed to do as well. You're going to use the foam brush for most of your painting. Gives us a nice big applicator when you're working on your parts. So just to be clear, you need your base, your body block. Your crescent does not get painted. Your wheel can be painted, and your dowel does not get painted. So these two are not being painted. When you're painting your base, don't paint the bottom, and also do not paint the bottom of your body block. Both of those should have your name and block number on it. You will probably have to do 2 coats of paint for every color that you're using. For the base, a good technique or process for doing this is to first paint all the edges and make sure you're getting in, and there should be no wood visible. And when you're done, you want to have nice, long, gentle strokes, and assume that I painted all that. And then I would go to the other side, and I'm going to work through, and this is the side grain. It will paint a lot more quickly than the end grain, just because of how the grain is positioned. And I would go through and I would do all 4 of the sides. So imagine that all 4 of the edges are done. And then I would paint the top. To paint the top, you're going to use something called the nail block. And you're going to get 4 of these nail blocks and put them to create a square. And then you can place your base onto that so that the edges which have paint on it don't get stuck down to the cardboard. And then I can go through and continue painting. And again, you want to have long brush strokes. Make sure when you're done that there's no extra thickness of paint anywhere, globs of paint. And it should look smooth and uniform in color. Take your time, paint the whole surface. When it dries and you come back and check it later, you'll probably will see that some wood has come through because the wood is porous and it soaks the paint into the pores. So that's why you'll have to put a second coat of paint on it. Then I would carry on and repeat the process with my body block. It can be a different color, it can be the same color. Be creative in what you're doing. We are not putting paint inside here, and we're not putting paint inside the hole for the wheel, and we do not need to paint the bottom. But you're gonna paint all the sides, and again, use the nail blocks to hold up your body block when you get to the point where you can't hold it anymore. So you should start by holding it in your hand and paint all the way around as much as you can with the paintbrush, and then place it onto the body block so you can finish painting. When you're done painting, use your paintbrushes to clean the paint tray and then wash the brush. Use warm water, so that's the left side. Turn it on so it's not flowing very quickly. And use the brush to clean out the paint tray. Once the paint tray is cleaned out, you can put it into the drying rack. And then taking the brush, put it right underneath where the water is hitting the sink and work it around in that spot, and the water will push the paint out of the brush. You're going to continue to do this until there is no color coming out of the brush. Same if it's a bristle brush, put it under where the water's hitting the sink bottom And continue to do that until there's no more color coming out from the brush. Once both of those are done, flick them into the sink a few times. With the foam brush, you actually need to take your finger and thumb and squeeze the water out of it. And then for both of them, using a paper towel, we need to also remove any extra water. If there's water in the brush, when the next person goes to use it in the paint, it will create a problem for them. So make sure the brush is completely dried out, and then go put these back into the holders in the other room.